Good morning. Happy Monday. It's our Monday. It's our first day to be on the live, but it really is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. How is everybody feeling this morning? How's your week been? We're changing the format of the show. So, yesterday I woke up and I was really tired. My son was up late and I didn't really get too much sleep, and I was thinking about taking 2 hours off work and doing market open session. And as I was thinking about it, I just felt like this great resistance. And I thought, well, I could either guilt myself into doing it for consistency, or I could just take a morning off, go to work, do what feels aligned with me, do what feels good right now. And during that time, I kept my little journal open. And then I just had this idea, like, why am I doing something that doesn't feel good? Obviously, the 21-day trading challenge is about not taking any trades, which is good. I'm fine with that because I know that's what my psychology needs right now. But why do I have to sit in front of the charts for 2 hours? So, thinking that over, I really realized how much I loved doing this pre-market session and doing our journaling and our prayer and working on our mindset. So that's what we're going to be doing from now on. We'll have a 30-minute session, and within that 30 minutes, we will talk about our why. We will do our journaling. We'll have our little prayer, and then we'll do a breathing meditation right before market open. And then I'm going to send all of you off to trade. Because I know and I believe that if you're here and watching my show, you already know everything you need to know about trading. You know your strategy, you know when to enter, you know when to exit, you have your risk management. If you use Bookmap, whatever you use, you're good, you're there. But like, if you're like me and I'm like you, then what we struggle with is our mindset. So the best thing we can do is take 30 minutes out of our day before we trade and just prepare our mindset. So thank you all for joining me. I'm going to let this run until about 9:05, give everybody a chance to come in. And then we'll hop into a quick conversation about our why, our trading why. And then we will do our journal. So make sure you have your journal and you have a pen. My dog chewed my pen, but that's okay. So just give it a couple minutes, about 3 minutes. We will wait. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. I would be so happy to answer any question anybody has. And we'll go from there. And if you have a coffee, please enjoy. I really have only been doing one coffee a day. I used to wake up every morning and make a coffee. And I read online that the worst thing that you can do for your stomach is for your body, is to have caffeine first thing in the morning, because it spikes your cortisol, it spikes your adrenaline. And when you wake up, your body already naturally produces cortisol. So cortisol is meant to wake you up. So you don't need any more. What you need is a little bit of fat and a little bit of protein. And once you've had your breakfast, maybe an hour or two later, then have your coffee. And I've been finding that really works for me. So I usually have my coffee around 8:30 and I get up at 5. So it's a good 3.5 hours to give my body time to adjust. I also really do enjoy going for a walk every morning at 5 a.m., even though it's dark outside now. Does anybody else go for a walk or do their exercise right when they get up? All right, I see we've had a couple people join since I started, so let's get into it. The first thing we're going to talk about, and it's the most important thing, I believe, especially when you're working with psychology, trading psychology, and money, is your why. So take a moment to think of, why do you trade? If you're trading to make money, is it really about the money, or is it about the way the money will make you feel? And when we're looking at our trading and making money, is it really about the money, or is it more about the financial freedom? So a lot of the times what we do is we confuse making money with feeling a certain way. So once I make this amount of money, then I can feel like this. Or once I have the money to buy this, then I can feel like that. And really that is the mistake that a lot of people make. And that's also what creeps in and messes up our trading psychology. So to have a really solid why is what will carry you through. So when you take a loss and you think of revenge trading, then that why that lives in your heart will stop you from revenge trading, because you know that if I revenge trade right now and I blow my account, or I take 3 really big losses, then how much further does that get me from my why? So we're going to take a moment and we're just going to do a little visualization exercise, and we're going to visualize our why. So a lot of times when we're visualizing is we don't really want to think. What we want to do is we want to feel. So we want to close our eyes, take a deep breath, and focus on our why. And as we call in our why, then we will start to visualize, or we'll start to feel more about that. So just take a moment here, visualize your why, whether that's time with your family, financial freedom, freedom to travel, 4-hour work week, whatever it is. Just take that moment now and feel it. And as you pull it up and as you start to feel it, then really lean into those feelings and make them stronger. And we're going to make a mental note to hold those feelings for at least 25 seconds. So just breathe in, enhance those feelings, and I will count for us. All right, now we'll wiggle our fingers. You can wiggle our nose, come back into our space, and open your eyes and just think of your state now. So the state before we entered that visualization to now, to how you feel now. The goal is to feel like a new person. So thank you for joining me in that. Every morning before trading, we should take that moment to connect to our why, because that why is what will send us way further than anything we know. So the more we connect to our heart, the more that we can stand strong in our trading, because trading takes a lot out of our emotions. From the moment we send our trade, actually from the moment we see our setup form, all of the feelings start to arise. And if we have a really solid why on why we're doing this, then we can bypass those emotions. So, good job. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pull out our journals and we are going to journal. Woo! So as you know, this is my journal. I have a specific journal dedicated only to my pre-market journaling. So this journal I also use for other things, but I found that when I had a journal that I was using for other things and also pre-market journaling, then when I was going back and flipping through my pre-market journal, there's just so much shit to go through. So simple, easy journal just for our pre-market. All right. So don't forget the date. The date is very important. November 19th, 25. What it gives is it gives us a timeline. So we know this day, 5 days before I did the same thing, but I went 4 days without doing it. So we can track and we have data. This data is amazing for our psychology, for our mindset, everything. So as you know, we have a very special way of journaling. What we want to do, our goal really is to reprogram our subconscious mind. So when we write with pen and paper and we write our goals or our intentions as if they've already happened, then we are setting ourselves on to the pathway of success. So I'm going to write mine first. Well, you guys, we're all going to write them together, and then I'll show you my journal when I'm done. And if anyone has any questions, please let me know. We absolutely are not going to write anything in our journal about taking 2 losses and locking out. I made that mistake. We're going to write something like, I am so grateful today that I stuck to my trading rules during market open. I am so grateful that I connected to my why so that I may wait for my A+ setup and take it without hesitation. Stuff like that. All right, let's get it. Okay. So I'll give everyone just a couple more minutes here. I know I kind of write fast. Sometimes I cheat. I go back and see what things I wrote other days if my brain's not giving me the best ideas. So just take a couple more moments. I'll give us 2 minutes here. All right, everybody done? Cool. All right, so I'll show everybody my journal. This is what I've written for today. So, a pre-market journal. I am so grateful that I've taken the time to invest in myself, my why, and my trading mindset. I am so grateful I had the courage to show up today and stick to my rules. Yeah, no trading. Perfect. Today, I am so grateful for my self-awareness in the market. That is one of the biggest things that I've noticed doing this challenge is my self-awareness has just completely exploded in a good way. Lastly, today I'm so grateful to invest in my financial future freedom by learning trading and only taking my A+ setups with good risk management. And then I always like to write, which I really encourage all of you to write too, is thank you, Samaya. Thank you, your name. Because really, all of this comes down to you. And the more gratitude that you can give yourself on this journey, the easier it will become. I promise. So great job, everybody, doing their journal. Now that we're done that, what I was thinking was, I had heard the other day that your risk management is what creates freedom for you. So it's not your take profit. It's not your trades. Your freedom really comes down to how you manage your risk. So when picking a strategy and when finding your edge in a strategy, there's also the mirror to that, is that we have the edge in our strategy, but then we also have the edge in our mindset. And that really is where risk management comes in. So managing our risk allows us to manage the markets emotionally much better. So if we're not over leveraging, if we're not undersizing, if we're not taking negative RR, then that really is where we can find our freedom with trading. And I believe that. So if you can't manage a $200 account, there's no way you're going to be managing a $2,000, a $20,000 account. And really, your account is a reflection of you. So it's not a reflection of how good you are at trading. Instead, it's about who you are inside. So can you take a loss? Can you take a loss? What happens when you do take a loss? How long of a losing streak can you go on before blowing up your account? Can you take 3 losses in a row? Are they part of your plan? So all of these things I feel like are very important. And I don't say them from a place up high of where I've defeated all of these things, because as you all know, I'm doing a no trading challenge because my psychology is really rocking me right now. I blew 3 accounts in 6 weeks. So just evals, but still. In my whole time trading, I've never done that. So that's what's taken me this thought process here to take a step back from the actual trading process and focus on my mindset. So what we are inside is how our external reality will look. When we approach the market from a scarcity mindset, so when we send a trade because we're afraid we're going to miss out, when we take profits because we don't want to lose our profits, when we move our stop loss up because we don't want to take that loss, really what we're sending out to the universe and to God is that we don't trust in the plan. It's also telling us that we really want to make money. And the more we want to make money, the more we chase making money, the faster it runs away from us. So really the most important thing is to stay cool, calm, and collected. I know it sounds easy, but this session here should really help us with that. So now what we can do is we can do our prayer. We'll take about 2 minutes for this. The first minute will be in silence, and then the second minute I'll lead us in a prayer. So take a moment now, and please do not forget to thank yourself and to offer yourself gratitude on this journey. All right, cool. So that was a minute. Hopefully you feel great after offering yourself gratitude. And now we will do it together. So the first thing I'd like to say is thank you to me and thank you to you for showing up every day and for committing to your trading mindset. We can learn whatever strategy we want. We can have an 80% win rate. But if our mindset is not right, then one day, one trade, one session could take away all our gains. So, thank you for showing up and committing and investing in your trading mindset. Thank you if you are also doing the 21-day trading challenge for committing to an abundance mindset and leaving behind scarcity. Justin Merlin talks about this all the time, is that we face the market. When we face the market with scarcity, that's what we get back. So the more that we trust in the plan and the more that we trust that the market will always be there, the bigger success that we will find. So thank you for your commitment on this journey. Perfect. So hopefully right now you guys are all feeling as amazing as I'm feeling. I will be sitting in front of the charts at market open, not trading. And I honestly haven't decided what's going to happen after these 21 days, but my goal is to take 21 trading days off. And I'm not going to say it's been hard because I'm committed to it, but the market lately has just looked so good. I've seen some very good setups. This Monday, I never trade Mondays, but as I checked the market, there was an A+ super easy setup. So, no FOMO. If the setup comes now, the setup will come later. And that is the best thing that we can do, and that's the best thing that we can remember. Because the more we focus on getting our emotions right and getting our mindset right, the more prepared we are to get back into the swing of things. So we have about 5 minutes now to market open. I can leave this time now if anyone has any questions, either about the journaling or about the challenge or just about your why in general. I'd be happy to listen and happy to answer. Is anybody else also doing the 21-day no trading challenge? And if you are, why? I'd love to know. All right, so we're about 3 minutes from market open now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little breathing exercise that takes us into market open, and then I'm gonna poof, see you guys tomorrow. So take a moment, get comfortable, take a couple deep breaths. The point of this exercise really is to wind down our nervous system. As market opens, as the market starts to move, we can feel a lot of stress and we can have our nervous system kind of light off. So the best thing we can do now is just take a couple minutes, do some intentional breathing, and really bring down that stress level to 0. So take a deep breath in through your nose. We're aiming to breathe in for 7 seconds. And then we're going to hold for 2. And then we're going to breathe out of our mouth for 8. And as you breathe out, your whole body should just go. At least that's what I'm feeling. So, in through your nose for 7. Hold for 2. And then out for 8. In for 7. Hold for 2. And then out for 8. Okay, we're going to do one more. In for 7. Hold for 2. And out for 8. Perfect. Thank you all for joining me in this time. Now let's get it. Market open. See you all tomorrow. Bye. Trade well. And if you find that this session helps you, please leave me a comment. I would love to hear. Also, if you have any suggestions, I would also love to hear. Thank you.